So maybe we kick off with our first slide, that lovely slide of your favorite slide, Yuanling, of the giraffe. Now, this is what would happen to a giraffe if they introduced McDonald's for animals in Africa.
Oh,
You know, the sad thing is, Yuanling, that 58 million Americans are now overweight, and that 40 million are obese, and 3 million morbidly obese. I mean, this is an epidemic of giant proportions.
definitely. That's what happened. Unfortunately, as our life standard improves, you know, we have a lot more options. Unfortunately, because our lifestyle in a fast pace, you know, we sort of food become not a need for the body, become, you know, just part of a life that's creating more problem than supporting our lifestyle.
No, and it's getting worse. You know, 8 out of 10 25-year-olds are overweight. You know, so what's happening now already, you know, diabetes, you know, heart disease, complications from this overeating or eating the wrong foods are ballooning, you know, so that within a decade or 2 decades, the epidemic that is now occurring is going to be even worse. It's going to hit Medicaid and Medicare, you know, enormously. So in the last 30 years, this has occurred. You know, 20 years ago, plate, you know, talking about food sizes, the plates that food's served upon was 80% smaller. So within 20 years, the manufacturers of plates have increased their plate sizes. You know.
I actually just read a statistic that since 1993, more Americans are spending more money on their food dollar eating out than they are eating in.
Wow.
So, and that's just increased since 1993.
So not only are we putting more in, and bad stuff at that,
Right.
we're not working it off. 78% are not meeting even the basic requirements to burn some of the too much food we're putting in and burn it off.
Well, when it comes to weight loss, it's really such a simple thing, and it's so hard for people to do. It's diet and exercise. And I just recently saw a comic cartoon, and it was diet and exercise, and people were coming into this weight loss clinic, and it was diet and exercise, and the two people were saying, oh, come on, seriously, what do we need to do? You know, like, people want a quick fix. They want something that
they want a
doesn't
pill.
take effort. And, you know, really to address the weight loss issue, it's a lot of issues that you need to start to look at. Lifestyle, time management, understanding food differently, really understanding what foods to avoid and what foods to increase.
So, you know, we've got the horror story of, you know, the 76% increase in type 2 diabetes in adults 30 to 40 years old since 1990. So we're talking 17 years. There's been a 76% increase in type 2 diabetes, which is almost certainly dietarily related. 125% in children in 1 year. The Okinawans, in the Okinawan study, showed that they have the highest longevity in the world. They have 80% less heart disease. They have 80% less estrogen receptive cancers. And they're eating between 9 and 12 portions of fruits and vegetables a day.
Right.
They're eating very little meat. They're eating a lot of fish. They're eating rice, and most of it is unrefined foods.
Right.
You know, we know that in Crete that they also have very high levels of antioxidants in their blood, high levels of longevity, and that in the Mediterranean diet is also very high in fresh fruits and vegetables in areas that have been studied. In the Crete study, they're also eating a wide range of greens, naturally grown greens that they're bringing into their diet through salads. And we know from looking at the China study, very large study done at Cornell, that done by Cornell or helped by Cornell in China, that the correlation between animal protein and heart disease and cancer is huge. Above 5% intake of animal protein increases cancer and heart disease massively. And in areas that weren't affluent enough to be able to afford dairy products and animal proteins, they had practically, you know, zero levels of heart disease and cancer. So it was that dramatic that study pulled out. So the kind of diet that we're stuck in is responsible for a lot of disease, but it's also responsible for many of us getting overweight. So from that perspective, coming back in, we're taking aim at fast food. If people are really interested in losing weight and getting down to work, a lot of our approach is much more holistic. It's not about eat so many grams of this food and so many grams, and weigh your food like this and weigh your food like that. How would you sum up our holistic approach at the Darcy Wellness Clinic?
Our holistic approach really looks at food as energy. So a calorie is not a calorie. I mean, scientifically a calorie is a calorie, but from our perspective, the quality of the calorie makes a huge difference. So
that would also be about organic foods as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really stress choosing organic foods because those have nutrients. I think what happens when you are choosing conventional produce, the nutrient value is so much less now because of a variety of reasons. So consequently, people are eating and eating more, but they're not satisfied.
Yeah.
So they're not getting, because they're not getting the nourishment and the nutrients.
We know that a diet high in fruits and vegetables is low in diabetes and heart disease.
Yes.
And it's also lower in the amount of weight people are putting on.
If you did nothing else but increase the amount of fruits and vegetables in your diet, you will be doing a lot for your health.
Right. So that's a big deal for your health, but it's also a big deal for weight loss.
Right.
And it's not a quick fix. We're talking about shifting your lifestyle on an ongoing basis. And
That's right.
that means the more fruits and vegetables, the less refined foods. Anything that comes out of a packet, out of a can.
Yeah, no nutrient value, or less, much less nutrient value. So you're going to be eating, but you're not going to be satisfied.
Yuanling, as an acupuncturist, herbalist, but also as a dietitian, how do you work with people around weight loss issues? I mean, there's no quick fix. I think everybody agrees with that.
Right. So first of all, we have to identify what it is that's contributing weight loss. We need to identify very small things sometimes people don't realize. I have people do their meal diary. I ask them, after they have done it, I ask them to look through, see if they can identify any problems.
It's shocking, actually, if you go over everything you eat in a day.
Right. So one of my patients always say, "Oh, I barely eat anything, but I just gain weight." I said that statement might be correct. Some people have poor metabolism. That's where the herb and acupuncture comes in, promote better metabolism. But however, it's what we put in. We understand this concept really well when we're looking at our banking system.
That's right, that's right.
If we spend more than we earn, we don't have any leftover.
When somebody sits down with you from an educational viewpoint, what are you looking to cover with them?
Well, the one thing I'm first the first point that I always make with people is that when you put in better quality nutrients into your body will automatically start to build better tissue.
Food has energy.
Food has energy, and that is probably the biggest point I try to make with people, is that when you go and choose your food at the grocery store, that you look for food that has what we call life force, that has chi, that it has energy. So that food, therefore, that energy will translate into your body. Food works forward, so you eat the food, it gives you the energy. If you were going to go out and shovel snow, for example, you would fortify yourself with food that is going to be building food. If you're going to be sleeping late at night and going to bed, you would be wanting food that would help you relax, not something heavy.
The idea of quality, if the body's not getting the quality it needs, then it's going to look for more. It's a form of malnutrition, trying to put more in the body's extracting less out of more.
And when we do the week detox, you get a great opportunity for 2 weeks to really focus on choosing the best quality.
So the idea of acupuncture really helping to stimulate the release of endorphins in the body, the kind of feel-good, pain-relieving chemicals. And there are treatments specifically, in the ear where you put pellets that stay on certain appetite control points in the ear. So there are symptomatic treatments to help appetite suppressant. But there are also, by itself, that's not going to do it, because as soon as you stop the acupuncture, the appetite's raging again.
Right.
So you use both, appetite control plus re-education and working with the constitution. To put your dietitian's hat on, how do you work with people?
So someone comes in for weight management. I ask them to do 3 days of...
Actually, that's not a picture of you.
So they'll come in with 3 days of meal diary, so that we can at least analyze what they're actually eating and what it is that's causing the weight gain. And the next thing is that we, do a meal plan. We change small things at a time. We in this society, we like dramatic, large changes that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
A lot of diets that, oh, it's great, I was on for a few weeks, I lost some weight. You go back to your old shoes, same thing
Yeah.
will happen again.